Back with some Crisis Core. I think last part it ended with my SSD being weird. So at the end we were building Eris's flower carts. These are the other two flower carts you can get. One is made of Shinra parts, and you get them mostly from a squatting minigame, which sounds a lot more interesting than it actually is. And then this one's a good one. This one you have to do a lot of like really random side quests to do, and a lot of like pretty out of the way side quests. Alright, let's get going.
Let's do it!
Going to Nibelheim. You know about Nibelheim?
Question of the part. What's your favorite type of pizza? Do you like white pizza? I have white pizza right now. It's older. A couple days older. But it's from a local place called Roma, which is good.
Yeah, Roma's Ephrata. Probably the best pizza within like 15 miles.
Yeet!
I just said some random number. I have no idea.
I guess 15 miles would be pretty far. It would include like a couple, like, decently major towns. So we'll definitely say in Ephrata. Which, hey, the one thing we have is a ton of pizza places. We have a ton. Speaking of that, did you see Chris's New York Pizza got changed to like Maria's or Maria's New York Pizza?
I haven't been going there nearly as much ever since they changed ownership.
Maybe that's why they did the name change.
I don't know if they did it again, but like, they literally, their meatball subs there literally won awards. And I remember like a week after that they changed ownership, I was like, hey, can I get a meatball sub?
What's
and
up?
it was nothing like the
trouble.
original. And I was like,
Rounding up the group.
I don't think
We're
we're
in a
gonna work
hurry.
here ever
Let's
again.
move it. Sir, what? Cloud? Together again, huh? All right.
You can tell the difference right away.
Hold on.
You know, it's like the new owner got it and was like, hey, you know those expensive ingredients we're getting? No.
Like, I understand that buying a property, you don't automatically get the recipes, but you might want to, like, try to emulate it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not make the 10 out of 10 subs anymore, but at least make, like, 7 out of 10. Don't hand out 5 out of 10s, dude.
It's like this this
way,
sub shop
where are we
that's
going?
right near the store called VNS was like amazing when the store was first around. Like we got it probably 3 times a week. It was so amazing. And then like eventually it just like got less good because I think the ownership changed. And then we ended up not getting it anymore and then they closed. RIP.
Oh, did they actually?
Yeah, they're not there anymore. It's probably 6 months now.
So, how does it feel
You know about this?
to be home after all this time?
Haha!
I have no hometown. I wouldn't know.
I will say that it's pretty disappointing that they didn't do the
What about family?
pre-in-the-truck thing.
My mother's name is Genova. She died shortly after I was born.
When Sephiroth
My
fights.
Can't wait to see this in the remake
Why am I
part 2
talking
in
about this?
5 years.
Come on, let's go.
At least they'll explain a little bit of Sephiroth's backstory, unlike the remake, which does nothing.
That's because you gotta get ready for part 2, bruh.
I hate Sephiroth in the remake because he shows up and like the director and the writers are like, everyone knows Sephiroth, right? So we don't have to explain anything. We just have to show him, and then he's recognizable. We own Sephiroth. It doesn't matter. Hey.
So what you're saying is like, because it already exists,
Yeah.
they kind of take itself.
They take it for granted, and they're just like, everyone knows Sephiroth. Everyone knows the Sephiroth walks into the fire scene. Everyone knows about Sephiroth.
Oh,
and
didn't they
Nova.
do that like 20 minutes into the game?
Yeah.
Like you see him. Oh god, yeah.
When they
that's
did that in the middle of Midgar for no reason, and all it was for Sephiroth to turn a corner in an alleyway, I was like, I don't know about this remake, bro.
right.
I'm not exactly a hater of the remake. In fact, I would say that in some aspects it does Midgar a lot better, but Sephiroth was not handled well at all. I can only imagine that like first timers, like if they really don't know anything about Final Fantasy VII, like they don't explain anything to Sephiroth. He's just there, and like I could definitely see like Nomura just just being like, oh, it's mysterious, and people come back because it's a mystery.
Yeah.
And like that's how he's been directing Kingdom Hearts games for 2 decades. And I think him directing Kingdom Hearts for so long has just ruined him permanently.
This music, though.
Yes, very good. When they actually remix like original music and do it well, it's good. It's just sad that they never do it. Yeah, Nibelheim's theme is so good. Just Nibelheim in general is just such a
I love it.
a memorable, like melancholic place. And like the flashbacks with Cloud and like his like weird relationship with his mom and Tifa and everything. It's just Nibelheim is such a good place.
I remember this.
And this is probably the first half of this place is probably my favorite part in Crisis Core. And obviously it's like mostly nostalgia. You're just like, oh, we're doing the thing that they showed in original Final Fantasy VII. But it's cool. But then they ruin it later.
How much longer is this game?
Not too much longer. I probably...
I was gonna say you're at the moment, you know?
Yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of long sit-downs of this, but maybe next sit-down I'll just do it all, and then next sit-down will be the last. Genova.
Let's do it.
Genova. Interesting. The door is sealed, of course. Genova.
This is the cause of the malfunction. This section is broken. Zack, go seal the valve.
So one of the things about the original FF7, I always thought was so weird is
Why did it break?
How Genova looks in the Shinra HQ. Like when you look inside the thing, and it's like it looks like a woman, but it's clearly not because Genova's just like whatever. And I obviously haven't gotten to that part in the remake, but I'm curious to see like how they make that look and everything. Because I always just like the what you see of it looks so weird. It looks like an alien woman.
What is that?
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I
average
I
soldier
can't comment
members
on anything. 'Cause
are
I'm not there.
Mako-infused humans. You're enhanced,
I'm getting there.
but you're still human. But then, what are those things? Their Mako energy levels are exponentially higher than yours.
Are they monsters?
Yes. The Shinra scientist Hojo was the one who created them. Abominations spawned by Mako energy. That's what monsters are.
The planet's dying,
You're
Cloud!
an average member. What about you?
Zach, glad you said that.
Hey, Sephiroth!
Could it be that I was created the same way? Am I the same as these monsters?
How's the voice actor in the remake for Sephiroth?
I don't even remember. He barely says anything. It doesn't matter.
I knew ever since I was
That's
a
why I like
child.
this Sephiroth. He's an actual person.
It's
you know?
like
I was not like the others.
From what I remember, like it sounds pretty
I
similar.
knew
to this.
mine was a special existence. But this This was not what I meant. Am I a human being?
No such luck.
And
You
this is where
are
it's
a monster.
Hey, remember Crisis Core original characters? Gotta retcon stuff now.
Oh yeah. I too have
Sephiroth.
one wing.
You were the greatest
Like,
monster
it was
created
such a
by
good
the
moment. It's like
Genova
probably the
Project.
best like
Genesis.
directed scenes,
So you
and
are
like
alive.
the atmosphere and
I
the voice
suppose I
acting is
am, if
actually
you
really
can
good.
call this
And Genesis
living.
shows up, it's all ruined.
What is the Genova
Wait,
Project?
so I think you said this before, but
The
like,
Genova Project
Genesis
was the
and
term
the other
used for
guy,
all
are they all
experiments
Genova cell things too?
relating to
Yeah,
the use
um,
of Genova
Was that said before, or did I
cells.
just like guess that?
My
I'm,
mother.
I've been watching the parts as they come out, and I'm pretty sure you've
Poor
asked this every
little
single sit
Sephiroth.
down.
Oh lol.
But
You've never actually
Genesis
met your
was
mother.
injected with Genova cells as a
You've only
very
been
young
told
child,
her
like an
name.
infant.
No.
Right,
And,
right.
and
I
he is
don't
the
know
worst
what
Genova
images you've
soldier.
conjured up
Then
in your head,
Angeal,
but
I think they explained this later,
Genesis.
but
No.
they
Genova
alter
was excavated from a
Angeal's
2,000
mother
year old rock layer.
into having like Genova cells in her. So
She's a monster.
I think in the past I said that Angeal was injected with Genova cells in the womb, but that's not particularly correct.
Sephiroth,
It's just more that
I need your
Angeal's
help.
mother is like a surrogate Genova
My
gene
body is
thing.
continuing to degrade.
And that's why he's a lot better than Genesis in terms of degradation.
And Sephiroth's the
Soldier
best.
And
first
Sephiroth's
class.
the best.
And why is that again?
Sephiroth.
Like, how can you do even more than getting your mom to like
Genova Project G.
like just straight up
gave
inject it
birth
with
to
the
Angeal.
He
cell?
might just. I
And
actually kind of
monsters
forget, but he
like
might be
myself.
just like a pure Mako
Genova
energy
Project
creation.
S. S? Used the remains of countless
they're
failed
second.
experiments to create a perfect monster.
What do you want of me?
Your traits
yeah, he's
cannot be
literally
copied
just-
onto others.
Pure Mako.
Your genes can't be diffused. Therefore, your body cannot degrade.
Question of the part. Speaking of remakes, Capcom just announced a Resident Evil 4 remake, which
Share your
is
cells
completely
with me.
unnecessary. What is the most unnecessary
My
remake
friend.
that exists out there, or
Your
what would the
desire.
most unnecessary one that you could possibly think of them doing?
Is
Also,
the bringer of life, the
Resident Evil
gift
4
of the
remake.
goddess.
So there's only two bad outcomes of it. It's either they're going to go for more serious, like RE2 and RE3 remake, which would not fit RE4 at all, or they could make it even more campy, and it gets to the point of just being
What are your
ridiculous, where the threat in
Our
Resident Evil
lies
4 is there,
created to
but
deceive
Leon
me.
doesn't take it seriously, which is why I think that Resident Evil 4 has
Or
like
the truth
a really
that I have
good
sought all
atmosphere
my life.
to it, because it's so serious but
It
also
makes
so
no
silly.
difference.
And when you have a protagonist like Leon, it just works so well
You will
with
rot.
what you're doing.
And it starts out really early in the game too, where
I see.
you know you get through that crazy
Perfect
village part where all the
monster
enemies are coming after you, and then they leave, and he goes, "Where's everyone going?
When the
Bingo."
war of
I think
the
that's what he
beasts
says.
And then like
brings
he
about the
antagonizes
world's
Sadler
end,
and the little
the
guy, I
goddess
forget his name.
descends
Salazar.
from the
Salazar.
sky.
Yeah,
Wings
And
of
like it's
light
even
and
like it's a
dark
super
spread
high
afar.
risk situation because
She
like
guides us
Leon
to
and Ashley are
bliss.
both infected with the virus, and they have to
Her
like
gift
deal with
everlasting.
that like almost the entire game.
I just don't. PS1 games, I totally understand getting a full remake. I don't understand PS2 games getting a full remake. Look at that. In the black darkness.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that blackness is.
But
a
like,
glitch.
literally, like, what's the point? Like a PS2 game? It's like if they were like, oh, FF10 remake. No, not just an HD remodel. Like literally a remake. It's like, why?
Yeah.
PS2 games are fine.
And they already like remastered RE4 a million times. Like
Yeah.
the PS4 version's like full 60 FPS. Looks.
I thought
pretty good.
I played it on the PS4 and I thought it looks great. The only thing these PS2 games need is just an HD remodel. That's all they need. They don't need a remake. So I'm not really into that. And if that means they're not continuing the standard series, like a Resident Evil 8 or whatever, then that's kind of lame. Like I don't know if they have two teams working on Resident Evil games, but like
It seems like they're. From what I can tell is that when RE4 or RE2 was in production, it seemed like the RE3 team was a different one, and they started pretty soon with the RE2 guys. So I don't think it strictly had 1 year development cycle, which makes sense because you just cannot make a AAA game in 1 year anymore. But I would figure that the RE4 guys are probably the A team RE2 guys. So I guess we'll see what happens. RE2 was pretty good. RE3 was not so good.
So here's a couple games off the top of my head that, like, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like, if they were like, hey, it's a this game remake, I'd be like, why? Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG.
You know, I was just talking to Big Mike about how they should have, or he said that they should have remade Chrono Trigger instead of Final Fantasy VII. And I was like, I like sort of agreed because Chrono Trigger, as much as I do like the game, I think it's a great game, but I think it is one of the most overrated games of all time. But I was like, you know, if they got Toriyama back to do the art and like made it in like a Dragon Quest art style sort of thing.
How ancient is Toriyama?
He's like 70, I think.
I'm not saying he couldn't still do work. It's just like, at some point you gotta like, if you're gonna do that, you gotta do it at some point.
He doesn't, yeah, I was about to say, like, he can still do work, but obviously all he does is that he just gives character designs for Dragon Quest.
But it's just like, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree, like, when I'm talking overrated games list, definitely Chrono Trigger.
It's just like,
I've played it and beat it, and I think it's, like, very good. Like, very good. But
and
like,
Chrono Trigger is like a game that I would think would be a lot easier to remake because Final Fantasy VII has a million places, a million things to do. But Chrono Trigger is a pretty streamlined game. Even the original one isn't very long. Like if you know what you're doing, you can beat that game in 10 hours. I would say a casual playthrough is 20 hours.
What you need for a remake, a good remake, is you need a game, and FF7 was a perfect example, is you need a game that has really good ideas and is at its base very good, but suffers in certain ways because of the technology at the time. Resident Evil 1 is a perfect example. Resident Evil 1 is the perfect game, but you look at it and you're like, what if they had the graphics of nowadays, and what if they had the engine of nowadays? Because sometimes it's like a little campy and a little weird.
I remember this cutscene messing up a lot for whatever reason when I watched it the first time. Yep, okay.
There we go. So you need to find a game like that. Like, as an example, I don't like the series at all, but if someone was like, we're going to make a shot-by-shot remake of Tomb Raider 2, I'd be like, okay, I understand that. You know what I mean? Because it's like a game people like, but it's very hampered by the PS1. I wouldn't want to see it, but whatever. Like, if you're going to do it, it makes sense. But you can't be like a game that's already like pretty... Silent Hill 1 would be one I'd be like, okay, I would, if they had Team Silent. If they had Team Silent doing it, I'd be like, I'll accept this as a remake.
I would only accept it if it was like primo original director with good team.
Team Silent. They're the ones who made 1 through 3. So, like, if you had Team Silent, I'd be like, okay. But it really comes down to PS1 and N64 era is the only ones that, in my opinion, you should be, like, remaking. Because PS2, once you get to PS2, they're full-fledged games with cutscenes and movable camera and whatever. Like, it's fine, you know. I think we talked last time or a couple times ago. I would accept a Clock Tower remake. I think it would be very interesting to see. Mario 64. I would like accept the idea of it if Nintendo like did it. Well, obviously they would, but if they did it like, you know, it's fair justice. But when people are like, "Oh, Mario Sunshine remake," I'm like, you've heard that, right? Where they're like, Mario Sunshine remake. I'm like, what?
Who's the enemy?
Like, anything, you should just make
it makes no difference to me.
Mario Sunshine is like fine. Like, even the graphics are fine. If you want to HD mod it, like, whatever. But like,
also, yeah, Nintendo knows that they can just do remasters and charge $60. So why remake stuff?
I don't understand why they don't do that already. Like, I've said it before. I forget which episode. But it's like, yo, Nintendo could come out with a Switch game. It's Zelda Collection 1, and it has Zelda 1, 2, Link's Awakening, Link to the Past. Just those 4 games. Maybe the Oracle games. Then they could charge $60 for it as a physical release. And it would sell. You could add the N64 ones and be like, whatever, but it would sell. But they don't do it, and I don't understand why.
Sometimes Nintendo just really hates free money, and then other times when they do stuff, it's usually just in ways that piss you off, like like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on Wii U on release was $50.
It's more.
Then they ported to Switch, $60 now.
I had almost
Why
forgotten.
you get?
Because Switch is more
You
popular.
get Funky
Cloud.
Kong.
Huh?
Also, Switch is more popular and it's gonna sell anyway.
But
Right.
it's like if you look at it like, oh well, we can make $10 a piece from each of those games on digital download. It's
I'm gonna
like,
crash.
yeah, but you could make like
Right.
$50, you know, which is what they make from physical release games. You can make $50 by just putting Zelda, the first 5 Zelda games on a Switch cartridge and say Zelda Collection 1, and I guarantee we would sell out of that, right? I mean, it's no question. You don't even have to put Ocarina of Time on it. You can just put the early ones, and it's like, Link to the Past is on this? Oh man, $60, great, you know?
Considering that modern Nintendo doesn't even let you buy classic games on the shop anymore.
I don't get it. But it's like, damn, dude, like, put me in charge of Nintendo, please, and I'll be like, lads, we're about to do no work and make a lot of money. Do a Mario collection, right? Where it's like Mario All-Stars plus Mario World plus Mario 64. $60 on the Switch! That would sell. And I'm not being silly here. It would easily sell. It would be something where, like, we would constantly sell out of it, you know? And it's just like, no. Oh, also, you can't buy it. You can't buy, you know, Mario 64 on the Switch or whatever. And it's like, okay.
Hello.
Aerith?
Aerith?
I finally got
They still
her.
don't have a eShop, right? Like, literally don't have one. Or they don't have, like, a virtual eShop.
They definitely have an eShop. It's just that they don't have the virtual.
The virtual console is what I meant to say.
Now's not the best time.
That's
I'll call you
cool.
later.
So it's just never coming to the Switch.
Yeah, it's
At
just,
this point. The system's 3 years old.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, they have the
I'll come visit.
NES and Super Nintendo
I'll be here.
online thing.
I'll see you.
That like
I
if you pay
promise.
$20, you get like 20 games.
I did that because Ferris plays it a lot.
Yeah.
Because it has all the Mario games on it.
It just sucks to know that
They never add anything to it, at least that
once,
I see.
I mean, once the Switch Online is down, and it's gonna come down in probably like, I don't know, 10 years, and once that happens, your Switch is useless unless you hack it or whatever. And that's why I hate games as a service. It's just there's nothing permanent about it. Like even my Wii U, I was like, because I've been getting back into my Mega Man mood, I was like, oh yeah, I made like a save file for Mega Man 03, and I want to practice that game again. I just boot up my Wii U, didn't have to connect to the internet, just played 03, my save file was there, it's like, that's cool. But,
Can you still buy and download games on the Wii U?
yeah, I think the eShop's still up, but I heard that the eShop for the 3DS went down in some regions actually pretty recently, like Brazil, so
Wow.
that's probably going to be dead in the next year or two.
Do you remember when, and I don't know if this is still the case, when the only way to play Earthbound was digital download on the Wii U? So, like, people were buying Wii U's because it was cheaper to do that than to buy the cartridge of Earthbound. Like, literally. Pretty funny. I don't know if that changed. I assume it didn't. I assume it's not available on the Switch.
Something's wrong with Sephiroth.
Here's another $60 idea. You put Mother 1 and 2... There's 3 Mother games, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You put Mother 1 and 2 on one cartridge, $60. If you want to be real fancy, you put the third one on it. That's $60 right there. Guarantee sell. Just call it Mother Collection. Boom. And no one, because they're Nintendo, no one's gonna give them flack. Like, especially if you put only Mother 1 on it, they're gonna give you flack for charging $60. But put all 3 games on it. Like, what does it bother you? And is it a crappy use of a Switch cartridge, like in terms of like space? Yeah, but like, will people buy it?
Oh,
No
dude.
question.
I mean, Capcom put Mega Man 1 through 6 NES on a cart, which is probably like 50 megabytes.
My God, that's true.
Alright, so we're in the underground of the Shinron Mansion.
We're at Vincent.
Activating combat mode.
Yeah, so we have these coffin keys to open up coffins. And as far as I'm aware, the only purpose of them is to get like 1 or 2 useless items and see Vincent. Actually, you don't actually see him, but
Are we gonna see him?
I think he is in this one. Probably in the other one. I kind of remember that was the bottom part. I don't know if it's random. I hope it isn't.
How many coffin keys do you have?
You can get unlimited amount of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, once you fight that turtle guy.
This music's not bad. So yeah, the continuing the question of the part. Here we go.
Cool.
That's it.
I remembered it
What
correctly.
game do you want to see a remake? And what game would you really not want to see remade? Let us know below, folks! By the way, I don't know if you follow our analytics. Not that we get a lot of views on anything, but this Crisis Core has been getting, like, way more views than our average video we've been putting up. I don't know if it's just because it's Final Fantasy VII and people are like, what?
They're coming for me.
It has to be. But yeah, like, in general, like, it, like, has 4 to 5 times the amount of views of My Blood Will Tell parts, which is like, bruh. I understand.
The problem is that Blood Will Tell is just like, who heard of that game?
I know. I hope that over time people just happen upon part 1 and they're like, I want to see what this game's about. The only negative is it's literally 15 parts, so it's like,